Welcome back. You're watching Newsline.
It's time to check out the latest happenings from around the world. Cambodia and North Korea have signed a trade and investment deal following yesterday's visit to Cambodia by Korean Prime Minister Kim Jong-il. North Korean Premier Kim Jong-il's first official trip to Cambodia resulted in the signing of a trade and investment deal between the two nations. The pact, which has been in the pipeline for several months, was initiated at the request of Pyongyang, whose limited trade with the outside world was cut further last year by the United Nations sanctions imposed after its October 2006 nuclear test. Cambodian Information Minister Yeo Kanarit revealed that the agreement was signed to safeguard against any political or economic changes to the government that is responsible for this deal. Such a reassurance would encourage Korean and Cambodian investors to invest in each other's countries more. Experts say Cambodia is a rare friend of North Korea, mainly due to Cambodia's former King Sihanouk's close relationship with North Korean founding father Kim Il-sung. The former Cambodian king, whose playboy reputation and royal credentials did not appear to clash with Kim's austere and rigidly communist outlook, still has a palace in Pyongyang, and his personal bodyguards are all North Koreans.
Several explosions at an illegal fireworks factory in Taiwan has resulted in the death of 4 people and the injury of 6 others. An illegal firecracker factory exploded in Taiwan's western town of Hulong today, causing smoke and flames to spew from the burnt-out remains of the factory. According to officials, a main blast was followed by several small-scale explosions, causing windows of nearby buildings to shatter. Locals in the surrounding area were unaware of the factory's illegal fireworks production until the explosion occurred today. At least 4 bodies have been found by firefighters at the scene. However, rescue officials stated that the rescue efforts have been hindered by the location of the factory amidst rice fields. It remains unclear what had caused the explosion, and no immediate word was available from authorities on whether an investigation into the blast is planned.
Mexican authorities were able to seize more than 23.5 tons of cocaine in the western port city of Manzanillo, in what authorities have described as the nation's largest drug bust. During a routine inspection of cargo containers in the port city of Manzanillo, federal police and Marines discovered a cargo container filled with packets of cocaine aboard the Hong Kong-flagged ship Esmeralda. Furthermore, a second stash of cocaine was also discovered amidst the ship's cargo. The total weight of both discoveries amounts to about 23.5 tons of cocaine. U.S. Ambassador to Mexico Tony Garza has stated that the drug bust, the biggest ever for Mexico, demonstrates Mexican President Felipe Calderón's commitment to cripple drug lords and bring them to justice. The Mexican president has been making the fight on drugs and organized crime a cornerstone of his administration. Meanwhile, the United States has unveiled a proposal earlier this month to give Mexico $1.4 billion to aid towards the fight against narcotics-related crimes. However, the U.S. Congress has yet to approve U.S. President George W. Bush's request for an initial installment of $500 million for the plan, which has been dubbed as the Merida Initiative and would provide training and equipment to Mexican forces.
Nations worldwide gathered in India today as the South Asian nation plays host to the 7th World Toilet Summit. Participants from around the globe gathered in India's capital of New Delhi to kick off the 4-day gathering of experts, toilet aficionados, and even royalty who are grappling with health and sanitation issues that endanger almost 1/3 of the world's people who don't have toilets. The theme of this year's summit, which is co-hosted by Sulabh Sanitation, the Indian government, and the Singapore-based World Toilet Organization, is how to reach the United Nations goal of halving the number of people living without water and sanitation by 2015. The UN estimates that there are some 2.6 billion people without access to basic sanitations, with over half living in India and China, a stark reminder of the challenges facing these developing nations despite their recent rampant economic growth. Experts say part of the problem is contributed to the financial support needed to build expensive sewage systems in remote rural areas with scarce water supplies.
Beijing residents brush up on their French and English language skills as China prepares to host the 2008 Olympics. Locals in Beijing have been gathering for free English lessons at a local park, as China organizes an English learning festival to help its citizens gear up for the 2008 Olympics. People ranging from young children to the elderly listened carefully to an instructor pronounce English words like thank you and the word bonjour. In addition, Beijing's Olympic organizers have amassed around 4,000 English-speaking recruits in preparation for the influx of foreigners next August. The government's drive to teach the public to speak English has been well received by many, as the ability to speak English fluently is seen as a stepping stone to highly paid salary jobs and is also viewed as a status symbol.
And from that, let's turn now to the sports news.
Spanish giant Barcelona were forced to settle for a 1-1 draw and a share of the points with Real Valladolid. Barcelona made the journey west to northern Spain for their Primera Division clash against newly promoted Real Valladolid. After 16 minutes, the hosts shocked the Catalan side when Joseba Llorente edged in front of a Barca defender and opened the scoring from close range. However, Hernandez Azavi was the provider for the visitors, with Ronaldinho able to reply to the recent critics of his different form with a well-timed foray into the Valladolid penalty area. Despite an equalizer for Brazilian forward Ronaldinho on the stroke of the halftime, neither side was able to find the breakthrough in the second half, with the scoreline remaining tied until the final whistle.
David Nalbandian, who defeated world number 1 Roger Federer, cruised through to the quarterfinals of the Paris Masters. David Nalbandian of Argentina claimed victory over world number 1 Roger Federer 6-4, 76, and 73 to progress to the quarterfinals. He is scheduled to take on David Ferrer of Spain, who defeated Thomas Berdych 64 and 62. In another match, 10th seed Richard Gasquet claimed victory over James Blake of the United States 6-4 and 6-4 and cruised through to the quarterfinals. He is set to meet Andy Murray of Scotland in the next round. That result also means Richard Gasquet remains in contention for the season-ending Masters Cup in Shanghai. And that wraps up this section.
Next up, some more interesting news from around the globe.